Hello lovelies. Welcome to Emma's Tales. Please subscribe and leave a like for us. It means the world to us. Also, share this video with your loved ones and turn on post notifications so you don't miss future videos from us. Thank you as you do so. Sit back and relax as we dive into this story. Chapter 1. Hands Through the Gate. Dawn bruises the Lagos skyline violet gold when the US Embassy's bronze cannons boom a single, ceremonial thud. Wet heat clings to the stone courtyard, curling steam from last night's rain. 2 rows of Marines snap to attention. Black boots thunder once, then freeze. At the flagpole, a trumpet lifts the stars and stripes on a slow, deliberate cable creak, each note bright and metallic against the hush of early traffic. 8-year-old Samira Yusuf hovers outside the iron perimeter, half hidden behind a jacaranda whose blossoms litter the sidewalk like torn paper hearts. Her sandals are too thin for the morning chill, but she doesn't flinch. In both hands she clutches a cream envelope, her mother's resume folded with surgical precision. The embassy gates loom taller than telephone poles, bars spaced just wide enough for a child's wrist. Samira draws a breath so deep it trembles in her ribs, then steps forward. The guard nearest the gate senses motion. Sergeant Holt, square jaw, buzz cut, polite indifference, turns his head fractionally. Samira kneels, slides the envelope under the bar, and nudges it all the way until the white flap rests on polished embassy granite. She straightens, fingers brush dust from her yellow dress, and waits. Boot steps grind. Holt strides over, rifle slung, visor shading skeptical eyes. One gloved hand stops on the envelope, the other signals her back. Step back, kid. Samira's knees lock, but her voice finds a steady thread. It's for my mama. They said no one listens. Inside the courtyard, all continues, until it doesn't. The trumpet cracks a sour note. The flag jerks halfway up and stalls. A hum of confusion ripples through embassy staff assembled for the weekly pledge. At the center, Ambassador Charles Morgan, silver-haired, spotless uniform, turns mid-salute. He sees Holt bent over a child outside the gate, hears the trumpet falter, feels ceremony bleed into chaos. Morgan's hand drops. Hold. One word, low but commanding. The anthem cuts off like a snipped wire. Quiet surges in to fill the void. Murmurs flicker among dignitaries who don't dare move, unsure which protocol rules now apply. Sergeant Holt stoops, picks up the envelope. Light, harmless, yet suddenly magnetic. Crayoned across the front in looping letters. Ambassador Morgan, please. He hesitates. Morgan is already walking, long strides echoing against marble. A junior aide flutters behind him, whispering about optics. Morgan ignores her, eyes fixed on the child beyond the bars. Samira sees the powerful man approach and feels her pulse pound behind her eyes. She remembers every word she rehearsed at dawn, but they scatter like frightened birds. When the ambassador reaches the gate, Holt hands over the envelope. Morgan studies it, then glances down at Samira, skin the color of burnished bronze, hair in 2 tight puffs, fear and fire warring in her gaze. "What's your name?" he asks, voice neither harsh nor soft, simply awake. "Samira. Where are your parents?" "My mama's at home." A swallow. "My baba. He's not with us anymore." Morgan's jaw ticks. Holt shifts uncomfortably. Beyond them the flag still waits, halfway between earth and sky, fabric snapping in a rising breeze as if impatient with human indecision. Morgan breaks the seal. Inside, a pristine resume on ivory stock, credentials typed in firm black font, and paper clipped to it, a smaller sheet of lined notebook paper. Crayon lettering wobbles but legible. "Please help. She's all I have." Beneath, a shaky heart drawn in purple. For a heartbeat the courtyard is a photograph. Marines frozen, embassy staff caught mid-breath, Lagos sun catching the rim of Morgan's glasses. He exhales, feeling heat on his cheekbones, a prickle of memory. His own daughter once drew hearts like that, before she chose a life oceans away. "Sergeant," he says finally, lifting his eyes from the note to Samira. "Pause the ceremony. Escort her inside." Holt hesitates, There are rules, layers of them, but one look at Morgan's face settles it. Yes, sir. He unhooks a side gate, swings it open with a metallic groan. Samira steps through, heart battering her ribs. The gate clangs shut behind her, and the sound feels like crossing into another universe. Murmurs swell as she walks past suits and uniforms towards the administrative wing beside the courtyard. Some adults smile, puzzled. Others frown at the disruption. Morgan keeps stride beside her, envelope clutched loosely in one hand, the crayon note fluttering like a tiny flag of surrender. An operations officer jogs up. "Ambassador, we should resume." "We will," Morgan says, not breaking pace. "After I understand this." The officer falls back, chastened. Inside, the security lobby smells of wax polish and chilled aircon. Samira's sandals squeak on the marble. Holt remains by the door. Morgan ushers her onto a polished bench, kneels so their faces level. His uniform creases perfectly, yet the gesture is human, unpracticed. "You came alone?" Samira nods. "I took the blue bus. Conductor said it goes everywhere." "Why today?" "Because Fridays nobody listens," she whispers. "I thought maybe the flag listens." Tears threaten. She bites her lip. Morgan opens the resume fully. Dr. Nadia Yusuf, Nigerian national, microbiologist, fellowship offered by Johns Hopkins, but visa status, refused, 214B. He feels something twist. The bureaucratic phrase reeks of routine misgivings, insufficient ties, potential overstay, case closed. Yet the rest of the file brims with glowing recommendations, grant approvals, proof she is precisely who America courts, except, apparently, not this time. Samira's gaze tracks every flicker of his eyes on the page. "Will you read it all?" she asks. "I will." And he means it. Moments stretch. Voices echo from the courtyard. The trumpet tests a scale, trying to salvage dignity. Morgan knows reporters invited to film the ceremony will smell a story soon. Protocol screams at him to smooth this over, yet a smaller, older voice in his chest says, "Listen first." "What do you want me to do, Samira?" "Open the door," she says simply. "Just a little. She can walk through herself." Morgan's throat constricts. Somewhere in the op center, radios crackle with curious chatter. Security will escalate if he delays much longer. But clarity arrives like first light. Rules exist to serve justice, not suffocate it. He stands. "Come with me." Offers his hand. "Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button." Samira slips her small palm into his. Together they walk past portraits of former ambassadors, stern men in gilded frames watching with static disapproval. Morgan heads for the consular wing where glass cubicles glow with morning sun and humming fluorescence. Employees inside turn, startled. The suit jacket of Consular Chief Greta Voss rises above frosted dividers. She strides out, bun tight, eyes sharper than bayonets. "Sir, the ceremony." "Later." He hands her Nadia's resume. "Initial denial yesterday. Review at once." Voss scans, brow furrowing. Section 214B. Rejection was final, sir. She lacked. Re-evaluate. Protocol locked horns with authority. Voss presses lips thin but nods. "Very well." Morgan turns to Samira, kneels again. "They'll look at it. It may take a little time. You can wait in my office." Her shoulders sag with fragile relief. "Thank you, Ambassador." "Charles," he corrects gently, surprising himself. From the courtyard, the trumpet resumes. Softer, tentative. Morgan straightens, glances through glass doors toward the half-raised flag. Ceremony can finish later. A bigger ritual is unfolding here, a test of compassion. He walks back to the entry, signals Sergeant Holt. "Resume protocol. Tell the press we experienced a brief security review." "Yes, sir." Morgan pauses at the threshold, watches Samira perch on a leather chair far too big for her, legs dangling, eyes roving the grandeur with cautious wonder. The crayon note still flutters from the envelope in his hand. He smooths its edges and tucks it into his breast pocket, heart side. Outside, anthem measures restart. The flag climbs again, cloth snapping crisp against a newly bluing sky. Morgan breathes in, feeling dawn settle. Somewhere behind him a child waits, believing power can listen. In front of him a nation's symbol finishes its ascent, but he no longer views it the same. Fabric and ideals interweave, and the distance between promise and practice suddenly seems as thin as crayon paper. When the last note rings, applause rises, polite and perfunctory. Morgan does not applaud. Instead he turns from the flag toward the interior hallway, toward Samira, toward Voss, toward a decision still forming but already undeniable as sunrise. He walks back through the doors. The cameras outside capture a flawless ceremony, but the real story now beats in the embassy's quiet heart where a resume lies open, ink drying under new light. Morgan enters his office, closes the door. Samira looks up. He places the envelope on his desk, then kneels one final time, meeting her gaze without title or uniform. "I can't promise," he says, voice low, "but I will try." Samira nods, fighting tears. Trying is enough. He offers a gentle smile, small, almost private, and rises. Outside, the embassy returns to schedule. Inside, a clock starts ticking on a promise no policy could have scripted. Cut to black. Chapter 2. 3 denials and 1 night. Fluorescent light beats down like noon sun in the visa hall, turning every forehead slick. Plastic chairs squeak as nervous bodies shift. The air smells of photocopy toner and anxious sweat. Nadia Yusuf stands fifth in line, resume folder hugged to her chest, scarf damp at the nape of her neck. 3 months of paperwork, lab certifications, and scholarship letters weigh almost nothing in her arms. Yet her heart thunders as if she carries a boulder. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. A clerk calls her number, B42. Through a speaker that crackles like frying oil, Nadia steps forward to the glass booth where a consular officer sits behind a computer, tie too tight, eyes unreadable. Her lips form good morning, but the words limp out, dust dry. Fingerprints. Passport. Questions fired in clipped monotone. Purpose of travel? Duration of fellowship. How much money in your Nigerian bank account today? Nadia answers each, pulse drumming against her ribs. She mentions Johns Hopkins, the microbiology fellowship, the stipend that covers housing. She slides proof of return flight, her mother's medical records, advanced ovarian cancer, with an addendum. Experimental trial requires specimen transport, Nadia's specific expertise. The officer barely nods. Keys clack. A minute stretches elastic, then snaps when he reaches for a red stamp. Rejected. The block letters land beside her photo, final and brutal. Nadia's throat seals. Sir, there must be. He slides the passport back under the slot, gaze already skipping to the next applicant. 214B. Insufficient ties. Next. Loud enough to drown protest. Automatic doors hiss open behind Nadia. She stumbles out, denial paper rattling in trembling fingers. The lobby's cool air punches her lungs but offers no breath. Around her, other applicants murmur condolences or avert eyes, afraid the curse might be contagious. Nadia walks until the doors swing closed behind her with a thud that feels like judgment. Outside, noon sun slams pavement, Okada horns scream, Lagos moves on. She can't. Feet root to the tiles as tears well, hot and useless. She pictures her mother, Amina, thin frame lost in hospital sheets, asking every evening, "How soon, daughter? How soon will they let you go?" Nadia presses both palms to her eyes, crushing tears back. The embassy gate looms across the courtyard, iron bars taller than dreams. Somewhere inside, a stranger decided her mother's countdown stops here. A security guard clears his throat, gentle but firm. "Madam, you must move." She nods, turns, walks mechanically toward the bus stop. The rejection letter crinkles with each heartbeat. Night settles over Ajagunal like a cracked bowl of coal dust. Nadia's flat is one room. Peeling turquoise walls, ceiling fan that stirs more noise than air. A single bulb flickers. Unpaid bills overlap on a rickety table. Electricity, rent, medical courier fees. Nadia sits on the edge of the bed she shares with her daughter and lets the denial slip from limp fingers. It drifts to the floor, an accusation in bold red font. Across the room, 8-year-old Samira kneels on a raffia mat, trying to finish homework by the bulb's restless glow. She glances up, pencil stilled. Mama. Nadia forces a smile too thin to hold. Just tired, Habibti. Finish your sums. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Samira nods but studies her mother's shaking shoulders. Nadia lifts trembling hands to unknot her scarf. Fabric sticks to tears she thought she hid. A sob escapes, short and ragged. Samira's workbook snaps shut. She shuffles on quiet knees to her mother, small hands touching Nadia's arm. Nadia breaks open, head bowing onto Samira's shoulder, grief rushing out in gasps. Words spill, visa denied, no appeal in time, grandma's trial window closing. Samira holds her as though 8 years are enough to anchor storm tides. When tears exhaust, Nadia lies back, body hollow. Samira fetches the thin blanket, pulls it to her mother's chin. Nadia's eyelids flutter. I'm sorry, she whispers. I promised hope. Samira strokes her cheek. Hope is still here, she says, voice calm as dawn. Nadia drifts into uneasy sleep, tears drying salt on her skin. Hours grind by. Ceiling fan ticks like a rotten clock. Samira sits cross-legged beside the table, studying the rejection letter where it lies face down. She flips it, traces the embassy address with a fingertip. 2 Walter Carrington Crescent. She knows the street from school geography. Big white building, American flag. The red rejected stamp glowers. Samira chews her lip until it stings, then stands. She rummages through the table drawer, past due bills, expired phone cards, until her fingers graze heavyweight paper. Nadia's resume, printed on cream stock, edges still crisp. Samira hushes the urge to cry again. She fishes a blunt blue marker and a scrap torn from an exercise book. Across the scrap she writes in block letters. Plan B. Embassy. Talk. She adds a small, unsteady heart. Samira folds the resume with care, tucks the plan scrap inside. She gathers coins from a chipped mug, her recess savings, 55 naira, drops them into a cloth purse. She scribbles the embassy address on the back of a bus map torn from her social studies book. Nadia stirs on the bed. Samira freezes. Her mother sighs, shifts, slips deeper into exhausted slumber. Rain begins, a light patter on tin roof. Samira breathes courage. She pulls on her faded yellow dress, the lucky one with sunflowers, slips feet into canvas shoes 2 sizes too small, soles mended with epoxy. She spreads a sheet of lined paper on the table and writes, Mama, gone to get help. Don't worry. Love. S. She leaves the note under Nadia's phone. The resume she places in a plastic sleeve, then hugs it to her chest. She tiptoes to the door, lifts the latch with practiced silence, and steps into night that smells of wet earth and pepper soup drifting from distant stalls. Street lamps buzz like trapped insects. Puddles mirror lone headlights. Samira walks fast, small fist gripping resume, other hand steadying her purse of coins. Each puddle splashes the hem of her dress, painting dark petals that bloom and fade. At the main road she waits. Traffic has thinned, only night shift buses growl past, interior lights yellow as old teeth. A conductor hangs from a sliding door, hollering destinations. Samira scans the scribbled bus map. Route 19 goes close to the island, but she needs Walter Carrington. She bites her lip. A new bus rattles up, faded blue with peeling letters. Marina. CMS. Victoria Island, Bonnie Camp. The conductor leaps off, calling CMS 6. Embassy side. Samira steps forward, voice firm. Embassy 2. Walter Carrington. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. He eyes her small frame, then shrugs. Enter. 100 naira. Samira opens the cloth purse. Coins clink, short by nearly half. She meets the conductor's gaze, heart hammering. Please. It's important. My mama is sick. Moonlight flashes silver on the resume sleeve for a moment. The conductor's shoulders soften. Fine. Small madam. Sit near driver so I see you. He scoops her aboard. The bus lurches, gears grinding. Samira wedges onto a cracked vinyl seat beside a sack of plantains. Market traders yawn and shift burlap bundles. Someone's transistor radio murmurs juju music under static. Samira presses her forehead to the cold window, watching shops blur, barbers lit by lantern, suya stands glowing ember red, dogs threading alleys. Rain intensifies, drumming the roof. She tightens her grip on the resume. Minutes merge. Sleep tugs her eyelids, but she fights it, repeating silent mantras. Hold on, mama. Hold on. Each traffic light feels like a checkpoint time might deny her. The bus turns onto 3rd Mainland Bridge. Water below is black silk, city lights pricking holes in the distance. Wind sneaks through cracked panes, flicking Samira's braids. She imagines the embassy gates tall and black, the flag quiet in pre-dawn darkness. She imagines stepping close, sliding the resume through, and someone kind bending to pick it up. At CMS terminus, passengers spill out with crates of peppers, bales of fabric. The conductor motions Samira to stay. We continue island, he assures, and the bus growls on, streets widening, buildings taller, signs in neon English. Rain eases to mist, leaving streets slick as glass. Victoria Island's early hour glows faint pearl. The bus stops at a junction fringed with neem trees. Embassy Road, the conductor announces. Samira thanks him, hops down. Shoes slap puddles. Ahead, Walter Carrington Crescent stretches silent, flanked by kingdoms of concrete. She tucks the resume under her dress to shield from drizzle, then walks. Security lights spear the dark. Cameras swivel. The embassy appears. White walls, iron fence, flagpole just visible against lightning sky. No cars yet, only rustling trees and humming generators. A guard inside a glass booth drinks coffee, unaware. Samira stands across the street, chest rising fast. She checks her watch. Pink plastic, cracked face, hour hand near 5. Dawn is minutes away. Ceremony likely at 6. She crosses. Sandals whisper grit. The fence up close smells of oil paint and salt air. Bars cold under her fingertips. She pulls the resume free, plastic sleeve shining faintly. Kneeling, she slips envelope through bars till it rests on slate pavement. She straightens, brushes water from her knees, and retreats behind a pillar to wait. The sky shifts from charcoal to bruised lavender. Embassy staff begin arriving, sedans slipping past security, soldiers marching to posts. Samira's breath fogs faint trails. Her plan scrap crinkles in her pocket. She touches it like a talisman. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Bootsteps echo as Marines line the courtyard. Trumpet warms up, notes climbing. Samira's pulse syncs with their rhythm. She steps from shadows, approaches the gate again, heart banging. And the day unfolds exactly as hope dreamed. But that comes later. For now, she climbs onto a concrete bollard to see over the fence, watches the flagpole rope sway. Under her breath she whispers, "Hold on, mama." Voice small but unbroken, it slips into dawn as the first note of reveille pierces the morning. Chapter 3. Marble, brass, and bureaucracy. The embassy doors hiss shut behind them, sealing out the roar of Lagos traffic. Inside, polished marble stretches like a frozen lake, light gliding across its surface in perfect silence. Samira's sandals touch down without echo, as though the stone has swallowed the sound on purpose. Ambassador Charles Morgan strides beside her, posture ramrod straight, but his eyes flick to every corner. Security cameras, watchful guards, startled clerks. A young officer in navy blues jogs toward them, brows knit. "Sir, was there a breach?" Morgan doesn't break stride. "No breach. A mistake I'm correcting." They pass a brass plaque listing past ambassadors. The last name, Morgan's own, gleams with fresh polish. He feels its weight pressing against the decision forming in his chest. Heavier than protocol, heavier than pride. "This is how careers snap," a voice warns. Another, older voice counters. "This is why you took the oath." He leads Samira into a side office. Small, windowless, just a desk and 2 chairs. Fluorescent lights hum overhead. He closes the door. Samira stands clutching the resume sleeve like a raft. "Sit," Morgan says gently, pulling out a chair. She climbs up, legs dangling. He settles opposite her, folds his hands. "Tell me about your mother." Samira inhales, steadying herself. The room feels too bright, the aircon too cold, but she meets his gaze. Mama's name is Dr. Nadia Yusuf. She studied microbiology at University of Ibadan, top of her class. The words sound memorized yet alive, each syllable a stone she lays carefully. She published 3 papers about drug-resistant bacteria. Johns Hopkins offered her a fellowship to work on new antibiotics. It starts next month. Morgan nods. He's skimmed the resume, but hearing it aloud gives the facts a pulse. "She needs the visa so she can go to America," Samira continues. And so she can send medicine home to save Grandma. "My grandma has cancer. She's waiting." Her small hands fidget, then still. She reaches into the pocket of her dress and produces a faded photograph. An elderly woman in a hospital bed, smile thin but fierce. Samira slides it across the desk. She only wants to save Grandma. Morgan studies the image, throat tight. He sets it beside the resume. Why was the visa refused? Samira's brows draw together. They said, "Insufficient ties. Mama cried all night because we don't own a house, and Bobber is gone." Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Morgan exhales slowly. Insufficient ties, the catch-all clause consular officers wield when they suspect an applicant won't return. It's meant to guard against visa fraud. It often catches the innocent. He feels the gears of bureaucracy grinding in his head and, worse, in his heart. A sharp knock splits the moment. The door opens before he can answer. Consular Chief Greta Voss steps in, heels clicking like a metronome. Grey streaks frame her tight bun. Her suit is ironed to military precision. She clocked 18 years in consular work and believes rules are a keel. Without them, the ship of state capsizes. "Ambassador," she says, tone cordial but cold. Her gaze lands on Samira. Security reports an unvetted minor on premises. "Ms. Voss, meet Samira Yusuf." Voss's eyes narrow. "I see." She turns to Morgan. "Sir, Section 214(b) decisions are final without new evidence. Holding this child here invites liability." Morgan suppresses the urge to snap. "She is a guest. We're reviewing her mother's file for possible clerical error." "Clerical error?" Voss repeats, disbelief curling the words. Samira reaches into the cloth purse slung across her chest. Out come fragments of pink ceramic, edges wrapped in tissue. She sets them gently on the desk. 2, 3, 4 jagged shards, followed by a handful of Naira coins. Morgan blinks. "What are these?" "My piggy bank," Samira says. "I broke it for taxi money to come. Mama didn't know." Her cheeks flush but her chin lifts. "That's new evidence, right?" The coins clatter softly as she pushes them toward Voss. The gesture is so solemn it feels ceremonial. Voss's expression flickers, a microsecond of something softer, then shutters. "I understand your bravery," she tells Samira, voice even. "But consular law isn't changed with piggy banks." To Morgan, "Sir, with respect, the visa was applied for under the exchange visitor category. The applicant failed to prove sufficient economic or familial anchors to Nigeria. We must show consistency." Consistency, Morgan repeats, feeling the word like a chain around his ribs. He thinks of the crayon note in his pocket, how its plea outweighed an anthem. Before he can answer, red strobes ignite over the doorway. An alarm shrieks, a harsh, metallic howl that rattles filing cabinets. Sprinkler plates blink, but no water comes. Staff voices burst in the corridor. Voss's head snaps up. Fire alarm. Evacuate. She taps her earpiece, barking orders. All sections, proceed to muster points. Confirm if drill. Morgan stands. Take Samira to the holding lounge. I'll verify. Sir, don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Do it. His tone leaves no space. Voss gestures, and a security officer appears. He guides Samira out, coins jangling in her fists, resume pressed to her chest. She looks back once, fear rippling across her face. Morgan forces a reassuring nod. The door swings shut. The alarm screams on. Morgan exhales, heartbeat thudding against command chains he's about to snap. He strides to a wall console, swipes his badge. Fire system readout. Manual pull, consular wing. Likely false. Someone wants chaos, maybe to push the child out quietly. He shoves the door open, entering a corridor alive with flashing lights and hurried footsteps. Staff herd visitors to exits. Morgan pivots away from the flow, heading deeper, toward the secure archives where physical case files live. Every stride punches marble, echoing like a drum of war against bureaucracy. He flashes his badge at a security checkpoint. Guards hesitate, then wave him through. Inside archives, rows of steel cabinets stand at attention. He locates the cabinet marked NQ, NIV denials. Drawers glide with a groan. Folders flick past. Yahya, Yusuf Abdul, Yusuf, Fatima, Yusuf, Nadia. He pulls it. Content spill. DS, 160 form. Proof of fellowship. Financial affidavits. Denial sheet. He scans, jaw tightening. The consular officer had clicked no on scholarship verified, though verification from Johns Hopkins is stapled 3 pages down. A second box, family dependent, left blank though Samira's birth certificate is attached. 2 unchecked fields enough to scream risk, enough for a reflex stamp. Clerical error, or willful haste. Either way, a life hangs on it. Morgan slides the file into an evidence pouch, seals it, tucks it under his arm. He exits archives into a hallway now quieter, the alarm silenced. Overhead speakers announce, all clear. False pull. Resume operations. He turns toward the holding lounge, adrenaline cooling into resolve. The lounge is a glass box off the main atrium. Samira sits alone on a vinyl sofa, knees drawn to her chest. Sprinkler strobe still winks overhead, casting red flickers across her face. The security officer stands nearby, arms folded. Morgan enters. The guard straightens, exits on cue. Samira springs up. Was there a fire? False alarm. He lowers to one knee. You're safe. She studies his face, searching for truth. Her shoulders unclench. Will you still help Mama? He sets the sealed pouch on the low table. I found mistakes in her file. Real mistakes. Her eyes widen. So she can go? Not yet. Fixing a mistake and overturning a decision are different battles. He almost says, and battles cost political capital. But she's 8. She's spent her capital already, 1 coin at a time. Footsteps click. Voss enters, lips thin. The alarm glare fades as lights reset. Ambassador, she says. Facility clear. Pull station was activated in consular lobby. No culprit identified. A glance at Samira suggests she has suspects. May we resume removal of the minor? We will not remove her, Morgan says. He holds up the evidence pouch. Her mother's application was mishandled. Verified scholarship not recorded. Voss's eyes flash. Mistakes happen, but Section 214(b) is discretionary. Reversal sets precedent. Let it. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Sir, with your permission, I'll brief Washington. They'll ask why we broke protocol. Tell them we followed a higher one. He stands. Prepare a humanitarian parole recommendation. Get me DHS on secure line. Voss's jaw works. And if they refuse, then they refuse. His voice softens but does not bend. But we will have tried. Something shifts behind Voss's stern expression. Respect, or surrender, or simply fatigue. She nods once, turns sharply, heels tracing retreat. Morgan exhales. He picks up the piggy bank shard Samira left on the side table. Pink ceramic flecked with glitter, edges jagged. He folds them into a handkerchief, presses the bundle into her palms. Keep these. You'll need a new bank when this is over. Samira's smile quivers. Thank you, Mr. Charles. It's still Ambassador, until this is fixed. He winks. Then maybe Charles. A commotion stirs in the atrium. Voices raised, feet pounding. Morgan rises, ready for the next obstruction. But before he steps out the door, an aide rushes in, cheeks flushed. Sir, press corps wants to know about the alarm. They're smelling story. Morgan looks at Samira, then at the sealed evidence pouch. Let them smell. He turns back to the aide. Set a podium. 10 minutes. The aide blinks. You're addressing them? Yes. Transparency today prevents scandal tomorrow. He gestures for Samira to follow. They move into the atrium where marble pillars soar like silent judges. Staffers glance. Whisper. Morgan signals a Marine to escort Samira to his office. Safe, quiet. She hesitates, fear stirring again. He leans down. I'll be back soon. I promise. She nods, clutching resume. Coins, shards, tiny arsenal of hope. As she disappears down the hall, Morgan squares his shoulders, pockets the evidence pouch, physical proof of a system's flaw, and heads toward the waiting cameras. Each step echoes across marble and brass, not a diplomat's measured cadence but the quiet thunder of a man who has chosen a side. Behind him, somewhere deep in the embassy's electronic veins, Nadia Yusuf's file begins a second life. Chapter 4. Doors that shouldn't open. Charles Morgan's office door shuts on a soft pneumatic sigh. The alarm lights have stopped spinning, but his blood still hums. He crosses to his desk, wakes the secure workstation, and slots Nadia Yusuf's file into the document scanner. A progress bar creeps right. He taps fingers against polished wood, heartbeat keeping time. Across the top of the screen blooms the State Department case management portal. Each visa file is a forest of drop-downs, dates, codes, risk flags. He finds Nadia's entry, NIV #NG, 4572, YUS. The line flashes yellow, denied. He drills down. Field 12, funding source, applicant personal funds. Field 13, scholarship verification, NO. Field 31, family dependents, 0. Morgan mutters, lazy. Scholarships from Johns Hopkins are never personal funds. He opens the scanned fellowship letter, copies the verification code, toggles field 13 to yes. But the system blinks an error. Status locked. Section 214(b) enforced. Footsteps hover at the doorway. Junior clerk Malik Dia, skinny, nervous, tie askew, leans in. Sir, You asked for the consular log. He hands over a printout, trembling. Morgan schemes. Nadia's interview lasted 4 minutes. Officer Bennett typed in $$ in the notes, shorthand for insufficient funds. Bennett then approved 6 tourist visas in the next half hour. Production over precision. Malik clears his throat. I processed her DS-160 intake. The stipend field defaulted to 0 if the amount had commas. I meant to fix it later. Morgan lifts his eyes. Your error rated her incapable of supporting herself. Malik's shoulders sag. I am sorry. I never thought it'd. Don't apologize to me. Morgan soft screenshots the log, attaches it to Nadia's file, and tags possible clerical certification. The portal demands supervisor override. He types his credentials, hesitates, then presses enter. The system chimes. Entry turns amber. Pending legal review. A voice in his earpiece crackles. Ambassador. Protest activity front gate. Advisable you stay clear. Understood, he says, already standing. Nadia Yusuf has no idea help is coming. She needs to hear it from him, not a gate guard. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Blocks away, Nadia jolts awake to rain-cooled dawn. The bed beside her is empty, Samira's pillow cold. Panic detonates. She rushes to the table. No resume, no coins, only Samira's wobbled note. Gone to get help. Don't worry. Love. S. Nadia's scream shocks the flat. She snatches the embassy denial letter, bolts outside, flagging down the first Okada. To Walter Carrington. The rider guns the engine. Lagos traffic is already swelling. Buses belch smoke, kikis weave, horns fuse into a single raw note. Nadia clings to the bike, denial letter snapping like a white flag. Every red light she pleads. Move please my child. Drivers stare, unmoved. The city has its own emergencies. On Ozumbam Baju, cars slow to a crawl. Police redirecting flow. Ahead, a cluster of placards bob. Free students' visas, stop 214B. Disgruntled applicants have gathered, blocking the embassy gate, chanting. Nadia's stomach drops. Samira is somewhere behind those bodies. She slips off the bike, thrusts a note into the rider's hand, and runs. Rainwater splashes her calves, but she doesn't feel it. She elbows through protesters, scanning every face. Samira. Her voice cracks. No answer. Guards in olive uniforms keep the crowd behind metal barricades. Nadia reaches the line, denial letter raised. Please, my daughter is inside. I must. A guard shakes his head. Embassy closed to visitors. Step back, ma'am. My 8-year-old. She came alone. Nadia tries to push past. 2 guards cross batons. The crowd around them senses drama. Phones rise to record. Nadia's breaths come ragged. She grips the denial letter so tight it tears. Inside the fence, Marines watch but do not intervene. Nadia feels powerlessness surge. Same taste as the denied stamp, but now it carries her child's face. She opens her mouth to scream again when a voice behind the guards cuts through the noise. Let her in. Ambassador Morgan strides down the driveway, suit coat flapping in humid wind. Protesters fall silent. A guard salutes but hesitates. Protocol forbids random entries during a demonstration. Morgan's jaw sets. Diplomatic prerogative. She's with me. He steps forward, extends a hand. Nadia lurches past the barricade, clutching the torn letter. Their palms meet, hers icy, trembling, his steady, warm. He guides her through a side gate. The clamor outside swells behind them as if disapproving of the exception. In the courtyard, staff watch from windows, some curious, some scandalized. Morgan offers no explanations. He leads Nadia to the glass vestibule where Samira's small face waits, pressed against the pane. The moment mother and daughter lock eyes, Something inside Nadia buckles. She rushes in, drops to her knees, gathers Samira into fierce embrace. Never, never again, do you hear? Tears stream, half anger, half awe. Samira sobs apologies into her mother's scarf. Nadia strokes her braids, then holds her at arm's length. You could have been hurt. I had to try, Samira whispers. No one else was. Footsteps approach, Consular Chief Voss, clipboard in hand, expression guarded. Morgan remains back a pace, giving the reunion space, but Nadia turns to him abruptly, eyes blazing. You let them deny me, she says, voice shaking with fatigue and fury. You stamp papers, refuse to look at faces. She lifts the shredded letter as proof. My mother is dying while your officer clicks wrong boxes. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. Morgan absorbs the blow. Around them the embassy hums. Printers whir, telephones ring, lives continue in cubicles. He feels every mundane sound as indictment. He reaches inside his suit, pulls out a small silver locket, oval, scratched. He flips it open. Inside, a sepia photograph, a dark-eyed child in 1940s Ellis Island intake garb, name tag half English, half Polish. My grandmother, he says quietly. She came through an immigration gate with nothing but courage. A clerk almost marked her likely ward of state. Another clerk corrected it. He snaps the locket shut. I exist because someone chose compassion over speed. Silence pools. Nadia's anger thins, replaced by raw exhaustion. Samira leans against her, eyelids heavy. Voss clears her throat, professionalism tamping down visible sympathy. Ambassador, Washington liaison on line 2, she says. They need justification for humanitarian parole. Voss's eyes flick to Nadia, soften a degree. If we reclassify under HP, DHS must confirm within 24 hours, or she leaves Nigeria with no visa. Clockwork ticks loud in the stillness. Morgan meets Nadia's gaze. We'll fight that clock. He turns to Voss. Draft the parole request. Attach evidence of clerical error, fellowship documentation, and humanitarian necessity. Voss nods, strides off. Morgan crouches to Samira's eye level. There's a waiting room with juice and cartoons. Go with Mr. Malik. The shy clerk appears, gestures. Samira looks to her mother. Nadia nods. Samira follows Malik, small hand clutching his shirt hem. When the girl disappears round a corner, Nadia sinks onto a bench, hands limp. Morgan sits beside her, leaving respectful inches. Rain begins again beyond the glass, tapping rhythmic counsel. Thank you, Nadia whispers. But if they say no, we appeal. And if they refuse again, we escalate to congressional contact. Not fast, but possible. Nadia releases a shaky laugh. We don't have senators here. I do. He offers a wry smile. Then sober. But first, DHS has to read the file without that clerk's mistake. He rises. Rest. We'll talk soon. She nods, tears drying into resilience. Morgan strides toward the operations center. Protest chants outside rise again. Thunder rumbles above. He glances once at the locket in his palm, then pockets it, shoulders squaring against the storm. Time has begun its countdown. Paper rustles like dry rain in the consular bullpen. A dozen staffers hunch over monitors, eyes redlined, fingers flying. Greta Voss has swapped her heels for flats. She paces between desks, checking every comma of the humanitarian parole memo. Malik feeds documents into a high-speed scanner, coaxing the machine when it hiccups. Medical reports arrive by encrypted fax. CT scans, lab analyses, Dr. Amina Yusuf's oncologist pleading for the antibiotic trial. Each page lands on the growing tower labeled critical. Ambassador Morgan moves among them without barking orders, simply asking, What do you need? And supplying it, an override code, an outside line, strong coffee. The embassy's heartbeat throttles up. Midnight recedes into the whir of printers and the ping of incoming emails. Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. In a corner office, Samira sits cross-legged on a swivel chair, embassy notepads fanned around her. She draws flags, stars and stripes, Nigeria's green-white-green, a clumsy mashup of both. Every flagpole in her sketches sports a tiny purple heart. Above her, TV's flash breaking news. A shaky phone video of Samira sliding the resume under the gate. The caption reads, "Little girl's plea to US ambassador." The hashtag let Nadia heal blooms beneath. Comment counters spin. Outside, camera crews stake spots along Walter Carrington Crescent, lenses glinting under flood lamps. 2:13. Washington, D.C. Day shift answers the secure line. Voss stands rigid while Morgan explains the clerical error, the dying grandmother, the fellowship start date. A supervisor on the other end yawns, promises urgent review, asks for the stipend verification code, then puts them on hold to refresh policy guidance. The hold music is jaunty strings. Voss clenches her jaw until it stops. 4:47. DHS sends a provisional approved pending barcode email, missing the actual barcode. IT escalates. Servers groan. Malik prints the email, waves it like victory, then sees the blank square where the code should be and wilts. 6:10. The Nigerian sun leaks pale orange through tall windows. Nadia sits in an interview room, hands folded to still their shaking. She hasn't slept. A nurse from her mother's ward calls. Amina's fever climbed overnight. Nadia's breath hitches. Morgan, passing the doorway, hears, steps in, and holds the phone so she can speak without dropping it. When she hangs up, she whispers, "Please hurry." He nods once. Nothing glib left to say. Outside, the protest has mutated. Some demonstrators chant for student visas. Others hoist blown-up prints of Samira's drawing. Police hover but stay hands-off. Public sympathy is swinging too hard in the girl's favor. Reporters push microphones through the fence, baiting sound bites. A commentator on breakfast radio calls the embassy a moral Rorschach. Morgan watches from his office window, tie loosened, locket heavy in his pocket. His phone buzzes. Senate liaison offering quiet backing, if the facts check out. He thanks them without irony. Truth has become his best currency. 14:36. An email pings. DHS barcode server outage. ETA unknown. Voss rubs her temples. Malik exhales a swear. Without the machine-readable code, the visa sticker can't be activated. Nadia's flight, rebooked for dawn tomorrow, hangs by cobwebs. Morgan rolls up his sleeves, dials the acting deputy secretary. He speaks calmly, voice lined with steel. "We are hours from breaching humanitarian protocol. If systems fail, my authority will cover a one-time travel letter." Silence. Then, "You understand that's career suicide if DHS objects." Morgan's eyes slide to the photo of his grandmother on the credenza. "I'm aware." He hangs up before nerves can argue. He signs the emergency authorization, ink-soaking thick paper. Voss watches in wary admiration. "We'll log it," she says. "History decides later." Don't forget to like and drop a comment. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. 22:01. The barcode finally arrives, an unceremonious attachment after 21 relentless hours. Printing, laminating, dry time under desk lamps, all done as if handling nitroglycerin. Voss hovers while Morgan presses the visa foil into Nadia's passport, smooths it once, twice, then stamps entry class J1 in blue. The ink blooms like dawn on water. He escorts Nadia to the lounge where Samira dozes curled under a NASA sweatshirt an officer found in Lost and Found. Morgan taps the girl's shoulder. She blinks awake, confusion sliding into hope as she sees the passport. "Stamped?" she asks. He flips it open. The visa gleams. Samira bursts up, rattling papers, and throws her arms around her mother. Nadia clutches her, laughing, sobbing, apology and gratitude jammed in her throat. Staff watching in the doorway pretend to check their watches. Some wipe eyes. Morgan steps back, letting the reunion bloom. He catches his reflection in the glass. Tie crooked, shirt rumpled, but eyes clearer than they've been in years. They meet again at 5:45. Courtyard still damp with night. A marine detail assembles, but today they add something extra. A tiny spare beret perched atop Samira's braids. The guards have practiced. One kneels to her height, explaining the cadence of salute. She nods gravely, small fists hidden behind her back. Reporters line the fence, lenses fogging from early humidity. Protesters from yesterday now carry thank you signs. Morgan kept the gate open. Trumpet sounds reveille. The flag rises, higher, brighter, cloth cracking in fresh wind. Morgan steps forward, passport in hand, turns to Nadia. For a beat he sees not a visa applicant but a colleague in the long war against microbes. A daughter racing death. Dr. Yusuf, he says, voice hushed under the anthem's swell. Travel safely. Bring back a cure. He gives her the passport. Their fingers touch. The locket in his breast pocket warms like a second heartbeat. Samira, standing on tiptoe, delivers her salute just as the flag blocks the sun. Two Marines snap theirs in sync. The crowd beyond the fence erupts. Cheers, whistles, a woman singing half the Nigerian anthem before forgetting the rest. Cameras flash. The moment prints itself into morning. Nadia kneels, pulls Samira close. You were braver than I've ever been, she murmurs. Samira shakes her head. I was just first. Morgan turns away, head bowed as if studying the marble. He slips the locket free, flips it open beside his grandmother's face. Today, another story belongs there. 7 days later, a post office clerk in Baltimore slides a postcard into Ambassador Morgan's diplomatic pouch. The front shows the Johns Hopkins Dome under blue sky. The back, in Samira's looping print. Mr. Charles. Grandma's surgery is next week. Mama works in a lab with big machines that beep. They gave me a badge like hers. It's purple. The flag is safe with you. Love. Samira. Morgan receives it in Lagos evening, after another cycle of visas and vetoes. He pins the card beside the sepia photo of the Ellis Island girl. 2 flags, 2 crossings, one long echo of courage. He steps to the window. Outside, the embassy courtyard glows under floodlights, flag resting for the night, fabric limp but deserving. Morgan loosens his tie a final notch, feels the breeze of a door long closed now cracked open, and, for the first time in years, inhales without the scent of marble dust in his lungs. Hey lovelies, thanks so much for sticking around till the end. If you felt something, learned something, or just enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. See you next time, bye.